Welcome back. You are watching The Full View. Now, question for the day. Will the real PAC please stand up? There are at the moment at least two leaders who claim to be presidents of that party, Narius Moloto and Luthando Mbinda. In December last year, Moloto was elected president at a two-day national policy conference in Mpumalanga, attended by 3,000 delegates. For his part, Mbinda was elected at the party's elective conference in 2014 and remains the only member of parliament, a position that has been affirmed by a number of court processes. A recent unity conference was held in Kimberley, and that sought to bring together factions loyal to Mbinda and a former leader, Letlapa Mphahele. Moloto's efforts through the courts to stop that gathering failed. Well, matters came to a head this weekend when the funeral of Zondeni Sobukwe, the wife of the founding president, Robert Sobukwe, was disrupted. It was scheduled to be a state Category 2 funeral, but the fracas that erupted meant that those honors were withdrawn, and the deputy president, David Mabuza, who was supposed to deliver the eulogy, also left amid concerns for his safety. So, whose PAC is it anyway? We're meant to have a debate this evening that, of course, was meant to feature Narius Moloto and Apapuwe, who's the party's national spokesperson. But tensions are so high at the moment that the two will not participate in a debate at the same time. So we'll start then with you, Mr. Moloto. Good evening to you, and thank you for your time. I mean, are matters at such a point that even a simple debate isn't something you can do in the same room at the same time?
No, I think it's not about that. First, I think we need to correct the background. It's not entirely correct. The election that Mbinda was elected to was in 2015 December. But having said that, you see, PAC has always been an organization, a simple, solid organization with one headquarters and everything. And with regard to this particular funeral, is the leadership and the headquarters of the PAC that requested the state president after the death of Mama Sobukwe. So therefore, there's no question. These are the old story being played again and again. There's nothing new here. And they've played themselves in courts, they've played themselves wherever we are.
Yes, and my question is, are things so bad you can't even be in the same room for a TV debate?
No, look, it depends as to what are you coming to debate about. You see, if a person has been, a member of the PAC has been expelled, we do not believe that it can come into a public space in the capacity as a member of the PAC until you overcome that expulsion.
So let's go back to Saturday. What went wrong from your point of view?
From our point of view is that as the PAC, we've requested the state to honor and to come in. Indeed, they've done, and this is not the first special funeral that the PAC requested and got. We've just had the one of Ndata Hosana. But in the process it was stage 2, in the process of preparation, it was then left to the government and the family. And now certain individual came into that particular. The PAC was not on the agenda of the program. Normally where the PAC become part of the preparation and the program, like in Ndata Hosana, we had two parts. The first part is where the family and the PAC and the church comes in, and the second part is where the state take over. Now that particular program was not in place, and as you can see in the program, we were not there, and we couldn't really insist that we be there as the PAC, but we have played our part, and we are happy to have played the part to ensure that Mama Sobukwe, the icon of the struggle, is basically buried in the way befitting the icon.
As I understand it, you weren't allowed to address that funeral on Saturday. You were hounded out. I
wasn't on a program. There's no way that I could have addressed because it wasn't on the agenda. And it is not necessarily correct. Where I was prevented to enter was the church. And also it was with the rowdy hooligans, because that's not how the PAC operate. That's not how the PAC The members of the PAC are the disciplined members.
We're looking at visuals now from what happened on Saturday, the removal of people who are trying to disrupt the funeral. I mean, when you look back on that, we're asking the question of our viewers this evening, if that action, that disruption they saw on Saturday, would you say it brings honor to the Sobukwe name?
Look, what we have seen there is an embarrassment. And we have already apologized to the nation. We have written this morning to the presidency and to the relevant department. An action need to be taken. We called for full investigations. We cannot allow as a PAC legal entity, registered political party, to have a situation like that. Disorder, disruption of a program. Even in a simple African culture, we are supposed to respect the funeral, the family, and what we have seen there is a total disrespectful of the event.
So which is it? A moment ago you said that you were happy that in the end the PAC was allowed to be involved in the program. So are you happy with what transpired on Saturday?
It was not a PAC. The person who chaired there is the president of PAM. And the people, look, there was no way. The one I have referred to of Philip Hosana, it is the member of the NEC of the PAC jointly with the government representative from the province that co-chaired that event. It went smoothly, and we have given each other space. We understand the law. Where the special provincial funeral comes in, we know the regulations that are supposed to come into play. We also know where the PAC and its members and the churches and the family comes in. Those things are being done orderly. We are quite learned as the PAC in terms of this program. As we said, we've been doing it. Also, it must be noted that the state does not come on its own. It's been called into the event. And in this particular instance, the reason why we apologize is that it's the name of the PAC that was there. And that became an embarrassment to the PAC leadership and the members. That's not what we need.
So as you sit here then, because this is what is confusing to many people, because on the one hand you say that it wasn't a PAC run event in the end, and yet we saw, of course, the PAC flag being draped over the coffin. We saw PAC songs being sung, and what really seems to have set things off would have been the singing, for example, of the national anthem. Is that something that would have bothered you? We also know the salute that was given wasn't the PAC one, not initially anyway. It was a salute that is more commonly associated with the African National Congress. Would those things have set you off? In fact, let's take a quick look now at some of the proceedings that unfolded. This, by many accounts, seems to have been what might have sparked the objections.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Right, your response. I mean, there are those who say that, for example, that Minister Ngakula may have been somewhat tone deaf, at least in using salutes like Amandla at a PAC funeral. Your responses to that?
I don't agree with that. That is not the first, what you call special funeral. As I've indicated, all what has been there, it has always been there in all the special funerals where the PAC is involved. There, the organization of the PAC give leadership. The organization of the PAC does not allow chaos and disorder. What we have seen there is a disorder. And in a disorder, it shows the absence of leadership. And that is what lacked there. And when we are saying to you that that was not a PAC event, the PAC event is actually having an order, the highest discipline and the highest order is there. So when people begin to do what they like, to disrupt the program, showing total disrespect, that is un-PAC.
Mr. Moloto, we've got a general election coming up next year. Many people would look at the PAC and say it's in complete disarray. There's no sense of knowing who's really leading the party. I mean, is this the kind of thing that you want to be doing less than a year before South Africans go to the polls? Even the issue that's most associated with the party, the question of the land, even that's been taken over by other parties.
That's true. Look, we in the PAC and the leadership, we're not really surprised. This is a program. It will continue running. It has been running. It never stopped. Hence, I'm saying that we are actually, in 1994, for the first election, when we were going there was a grouping that, despite the fact that we're from a conference which says the PAC must participate in the 1994 election, that grouping moved to disrupt and to disagree. And
so this is the way it is with the PAC? I mean, if you can't run your party, how on earth could you run this country?
No, I'm actually I'm showing here that this trend, is a managed program. It's come a long way. It is aimed at disrupting the PAC. Even now, this one it has started a couple of months ago, and it's targeted at 2019 national elections.
So as it stands, you claim to be the president of the PAC, but you're not even the recognized member of parliament. Where does this go?
I do not claim to be the president of the PAC. I'm the president of the PAC.
But you're not even the member of parliament for the party.
I'm coming to that. The PAC has one headquarters. Even the people that claim to be a PAC who has been expelled, they were part of the headquarters of the PAC. They were part of the organization of the PAC. We are in full account as to where they've ended. Now, with regard to Parliament, there's nothing absolute that the PAC can do. The Speaker, we have informed the Speaker, this man has been expelled from the PAC, and as such, he cannot represent the PAC any longer. He's not connected to the PAC.
All right.
He's not taking a mandate from the PAC, and as such, now, if the minister see it fit that the constitutional provision and the law in this country doesn't matter to her, it's up to her. But we are doing everything possible in our power. We've been in court. We are going back to court. But we are determined we'll get him out of that parliament.
All right, Narius Moloto, will have to leave it there with you. Narius Moloto says he is the de facto president of the PAC. For a right of reply, we'll be speaking to the other side, as it were, and we'll be joined in a moment by the party's national spokesperson, Apapuwe, who says, of course, that Moloto is no longer part of the PAC they recognize.